Hey guys, Marcus Catkin back for another daily fantasy update. A couple of quick news and notes from the later games yesterday, and then some information we received on some of the injuries in those 1 o'clock games yesterday. So, first up, Ronnie Hillman last night looked good again. Over 100 total yards for his second straight week as the starter. Monte Ball, even in all those games before him as the starter, couldn't even eclipse 100 yards in any one of those games, let alone back-to-back games like Hillman has done. You know, I mentioned it on Thursday. Mike Kliss, a Denver Broncos beat reporter, saying that it's unlikely Ball is going to retain his starting job, and it's looking more and more like that after this week. Monte Ball, by the way, still not practicing, so be interesting to see if he'll even be able to suit up for this week's game. Next up, Andre Ellington. We finally see him get a heavy workload. 30 touches, 160 total yards. Dude is a stud. They need to keep feeding him the ball just like they did in this game. 24 carries, 6 receptions. Just keep feeding the beast. Next up, a couple of injuries we talked about yesterday, and I kind of speculated that C.J. Spiller had a broken collarbone, and in fact he does. He is now out for the season. And then Fred Jackson, we learned a little bit more about his groin injury. Definitely going to be out the next 2 weeks, but they're saying that his type of injury is the type of injury that typically holds you out for 4 weeks. So it's going to sound like at least 4 weeks. No Fred Jackson. Obviously Spiller done for the year. So we're going to see some more Anthony Dixon and maybe some of our preseason darling Bryce Brown getting into the action. Personally, if I had to pick either of the two, I'm going with the cheaper option with my fab budget. I'm going with Bryce Brown. I think he's the better candidate to kind of take over the role that Fred Jackson had as that runner and receiver and kind of do more with it. And we could see Anthony Davis as more of that short yardage back. But for me, I'm putting my money on Bryce Brown. And then last up, it is reported that Calvin Johnson will be traveling with the team to London for this weekend's game, which is a positive sign. Obviously, if you're a Calvin Johnson owner, you want to see him get back as quickly as possible. But at the same time, you liked him kind of sitting out a couple weeks to get healthy, get right, so he can return to that Calvin Johnson of old. Don't forget to subscribe below for my daily fantasy updates, and keep following me on Twitter @MarcusCatkin.